All right, good afternoon, everybody. It is Jay again, and Merry Christmas. We are right there. And man, it has been a long, long year, and we cannot wait for spring because what comes in spring? Well, the majority of our fruit. But can you still get stuff in the winter or around Christmas time? Absolutely, guys. Like I was telling you guys in some previous videos, there are things to do every day of the year, and there are fruits to collect every day of the year. So there really is no downtime when you get into the world of permaculture, okay? You're going to be doing something every day of the year, either planting or harvesting or pruning, or there's always something to do, right? But wintertime is a little bit slower, a little bit more of a downturn, so it gives you an opportunity to get out there and work on your yard and also collect and try some of this beautiful, beautiful, delicious citrus that we grow here in Arizona. And the fact that every single house here does not have a citrus tree, well, I don't know, because talk about the best citrus on the planet probably comes from Arizona, guys. We get that hot, so we get that ripening, and of course we get the cool weather, which is going to make these things sweeter as they've grown all year. So your citrus will not freeze on your tree, okay? A lot of people pick their citrus too early here in Phoenix, and of course they're lacking their flavors and they're lacking the sweetness, and they're wondering why their fruit are always so flat. That is why you're getting the flavors from your micronutrients and your compost and by taking care of these trees. So we are going to go over 5 different citrus trees that you can collect and eat right around Christmas time. And guys, I would put these 5 on your list anyway, because these not only are 5 that you may or may not have heard of any of these, maybe you've heard of all of these, but these are definitely some that most people have not heard of and that I would add to your collection. So the first thing I'm going to go over is I'm going to go over some of these fruit, and then I'm going to take you out in the yard and I'm going to show you some of the trees so that you can see what they look like and with fruit on them, and you kind of know what to expect going forward. Citrus trees can get large, or you can keep them small. I get that a lot. How big are they going to get? Well, they can get big, right? But it usually takes a while, and especially on some trees. Some have a little bit of a slower growth rate than others. So you've got some here like your pomelos and your Oroblancos or your grapefruits. They're going to grow a lot faster than, say, like your mandarins here. Those are a slower growing tree. But eventually they all become big, and eventually you will be able to harvest beautiful fruit like this off of your own citrus trees. So like I said, guys, I would probably put these on your short list anyway, because not only are these available right here at Christmas. I mean, what a good Christmas present to bring to somebody. I mean, look at this. This is going to my parents' house. These are going to my parents. So you're able to grow stuff that you can harvest and also share with others. So just don't think about yourself all the time, guys. I know it's really easy to do, but think about others too, and think about your children and future planning, and would they enjoy something like this as they get older. So not only consider this stuff for you guys, but think about the future generations and having stuff like this available, because I tell you what, guys, this is the time to grow things and to plant things. So let's go over these. Let's go over these 5 fruit, these 5 citrus. Of course, there are a lot more in the yard that are available right now, but to keep this a little bit shorter and to keep some interest, let's do these 5, because these 5 most people haven't either heard of or know that they're available here, or know that they can actually grow these fruits here, okay? It's just not a lot of knowledge here. Maybe a little bit more about citrus, but on fruit and fruit trees, no, there's just not a lot of knowledge here, okay? So if you guys want beautiful fruit like this, you want beautiful juice, flavors, high in vitamins, then take care of your trees, feed them with a good quality compost. That's what I'm using on these. That's how I'm getting all these colors and these flavors and all this juice, guys. This just didn't happen by itself. You also have to take care of these trees. So a little bit of information there on citrus. Just know that they are a full sun tree here in Phoenix, Arizona. Don't try to put them in the shade. They will not do well for you. You might be able to shade them at first when they're a smaller tree, but as they get larger, they need the availability of the sun. And I'm telling you guys, you will get awesome, good quality fruit like these. So let's go over these 5 varieties. Then I will take you outside and we will look at some of the trees. And you guys can decide for yourself if this is something that you would like to add to your own yard. I always have these varieties available, and of course, many, many others. But let's just do these 5 because these are kind of neat. So let's start with number 1. Number 1 is going to be the big guy here in the middle. This is a Chandler Pomelo. So this is a pomelo. A pomelo is a sweet grapefruit. It is a grapefruit without the bitterness, that aftertaste that I don't really enjoy. I really enjoy these pomelos though, and you can see this has a beautiful color. It is pink. It is very much like the Caracara navels. If you're familiar with navel oranges, navel oranges are orange. Caracaras are this beautiful pinkish color, which is going to give you a little bit more sweetness and a little bit more of that kind of that berry flavor. And you can also see that this thing is seedless. There is not a seed. There is not a seed on that fruit. And man, just beautiful. Just look at the color. Look at the color. Look at the juice. I love giving these guys a little squeeze. Now the rind is a little thicker on pomelos, and that is to protect the beautiful flesh that is on the inside. Sweet. So think of this as a sweet grapefruit without the bitterness. Very, 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 very sweet. And a larger fruit. These can get the size of a bowling ball. So these are a little bit of a larger fruit. You can see there in my hand. It's quite a good size. So number 2, let's just go down in size here. Number 2 is going to be an Oroblanco grapefruit. So that is the one that you see right here. And this grapefruit is also not bitter. This does not have the bitterness that a typical grapefruit has. This is very much going to be like a white grapefruit. And I actually carry a white grapefruit called a white seedless marsh grapefruit that is sometimes even a little bit sweeter than the Oroblanco, and it has a little bit of a thinner rind. Now the Oroblanco also has a thick rind, and it is to protect that beautiful flesh on the inside. Now you can see that these are also seedless. Beautiful flesh. And if you are familiar, with pomelos and grapefruits, you know that they can sometimes be very seedy. So having seedless stuff is excellent for most people. So an Oroblanco is going to be the next size down fruit, and it's going to be very much the size of a typical grapefruit, whereas a pomelo is going to be much larger. Okay? Let's go over the third. So the third one this is a really neat one because this is one that most people have not heard of or tried, because I know that because you guys try them here and you're like, wow, I've never had experienced anything like that before. So a SweetLime is a very odd creature because it tastes exactly like a lime, but it is sweet like an orange, like a navel orange. So you can make limeade with this without even adding any sugar. And you can see how juicy, oh my gosh, you can see how juicy these are. And so you can just squeeze them or just eat the juice right out of the fruit. These do sometimes have a few seeds. There are a few seeds down in there, as you can see. But the flavor and the uniqueness of this far exceeds any seeds that it might get. I mean, look at the juice on this thing. So this is a lime, guys. It's called a sweet lime, not a sweet lemon. This is a sweet lime, and it tastes exactly like a lime. So you get the lime flavor, but you don't get any of the sour from the lime. It's like eating an orange. So this one I know not very many people have heard of or tried this one, because like I said, a lot of people have tried them here and just fell in love with them. Also, they have these other two. So these other two, this next one is going to be a Tango mandarin. And you want to talk about juicy. You want to talk about juicy. I've never seen anything like this before. These, oh my gosh. Look at the juice just pouring off this thing, right? So this is a Tango mandarin. This is in the mandarin family. This happens to be my favorite of all the mandarins. And it is also genetically seedless and sweet, guys. Sweet, sweet, sweet. These are the little cuties, right? So sweet, sweet, sweet. Easy to peel. Very easy to peel. The skin comes right off of them. So now you've got easy to peel, you've got seedless, and you've got sweet. And if you think you'll ever get any of these from your kids, you are sorely mistaken, because they are going to eat them all. These, I mean, in my case, I had to plant another one of these for my son, because this next one's his favorite. So this is the Tango. Awesome, awesome fruit. And then the next one sitting right next to it's the last one we're going to go over, and that's the Gold Nugget mandarin. So the Gold Nugget mandarin is also, oh my gosh, juicy. Look at these things. Like, never seen anything like it. And I know you haven't, because I bought citrus at the store, and I know what it's like. And it's not like this. It is not. It is not. Oh my gosh, the smell coming off that is just intoxicating. So guys, now what are you getting? So now you're getting the best quality fruit that you could ever have, right? Because getting things at the store, you're never going to have this quality. You're just never going to. And extremely juicy. And the flavor's there too. So you may think, well, there's so much water in this plant that it's going to dilute all the flavor, and that's going to be kind of, a flat flavor or kind of watered down flavor. No, guys, absolutely not. I invite you to come over and try these different fruits if you're wanting to get a better indication of what they actually taste like. So, wonderful, wonderful collection of fruit here. And like I said before, this is just a small sampling of what's ready right now. There's probably actually around 30 different citrus that are out there right now that I could have picked and done for this video. Oh my gosh, this one just smells so good. But I wanted to just kind of go over these, keep it a little bit shorter. So let's pop outside real quick, and we'll kind of go over the trees very quickly, and you can kind of see what you guys are getting yourself into as far as getting, good production or a good quality tree. All right, so the first one we'll look at here is a pomelo. And be warned, guys, a pomelo tree is a little bit of a larger tree. In fact, half the tree is over here into the neighbor's yard. A pomelo is really a large citrus tree, guys, because the fruit on it are like no joke, So in order to hold giant fruits like these, bigger, heavier fruits, it's going to be a larger tree. Just beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful fruits. So these are pomelos. And this is a little bit of a younger tree, but he does have fruit on him. You just have to kind of search him out. That's a nice big one right there. Big fruits, guys. These are really, really large fruits. You can kind of see there in my hand, and they weigh a lot. Like, they weigh close to what these bowling balls weigh, and some of them will get even as big as that, because these aren't quite done. And these aren't quite done, but I wanted to show you the video today, so I did pick that one a little bit earlier. But they are a larger tree, guys. Keep in mind that this is a younger one, so of course it's going to be a little bit smaller, but still a big tree, and will produce heavily at this size. Nice big leaves. Pomelos have huge leaves for citrus, as far as citrus go. Okay, so that is the pomelo, and I have citrus pretty much everywhere in the yard. So we're just going to hit this next one. Since we're right here, this is going to be one of the mandarins, the Tango mandarin. And you can see he's got some nice fruit on him that is ripening up. and just really nice color. The Tango mandarins have a really, really unique bright orange color. So I like to look at these too. I think that they're also a very, very attractive fruit. They have kind of a flat shape. If you guys can kind of see that there, they are a little flatter, but a good size around. So if you guys can see how big it is around, and it is a little bit flatter and a little bit of a darker orange. So that's kind of a telltale that they are Tango mandarins, because they're going to be a little bit darker. This one is not that old either, and I have eaten some of the fruit on this one already. And this one is tucked underneath a guava, but it shouldn't be. It should have a little bit more sun. That's why a lot of the fruit is over here on the side where the sunlight lies. But Tango mandarin, beautiful citrus tree, hangs lots of fruit, and they hang for a long time, guys. So these will hang for 6 months past when they're ready, and you can eat them still. They are still going to be good. So Tango mandarin, that's your number 2. Pomelo was number 1. Okay, and this is going to be number 3. This is the Oroblanco, and this one is going to be one in a pot because I don't have the room in the ground anymore to add another one, or this Oroblanco would definitely be in the ground also. But hey, this also gives me the opportunity to show you that if you want to keep these things in pots, well, they will fruit in pots also. So win-win type of situation, right? So as you can see here, this is a little potted Oroblanco, and he has a bunch of fruit on him, even though he is a smaller tree. And keep in mind the 2 fruits that I've taken off of him. Well, one I already showed you. I already took one off of him. So even a little tree, he'll hang quite a few of these fruits, and they're not small. I mean, that's a lot of weight. There's a lot of weight going on right here with these. So you still got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 really big Oroblancos, even on a smaller potted tree. And of course, see, he hides his fruit. You always have to look underneath your citrus trees to kind of see where all the fruit is going to be. So this one is number 3, is the Oroblanco. And this is actually the only one of the 5 that I don't have in the ground. And if I had the room, you better believe it, and it would be this one. I would plant this one right here. Heavily fruiting for such a small size. So you know that one's going to be genetically pretty awesome. Okay, so let's just pan over here and we'll do the number 4. Number 4, he's a little bit older. This is going to be the SweetLime. And you can see he still has quite a bit of fruit on him. And I have picked hundreds and thrown a bunch away and given away a bunch of customers. So you want to talk about, and I cut half the tree off. So I cut half the tree off that was going a little bit too far into the neighbor's side. And so I wanted it to come back over here on this side. Right, so I've got all this fruit, but talk about productive. I mean, this thing is productive, and these fruit will stay on here for 1 year past when they're ready. So if you don't pick these this year, they'll be ready next year, and they're still edible. So you want to talk about a crazy harvest or harvest time, that would be the one. All right, so let's hit this last one while we're right here. And this is going to be the gold nugget mandarin. And these are quite large, guys. These aren't small mandarins. So that in my hand you can see is about the size of a navel orange. And that might be even slightly bigger, or getting slightly bigger than a navel orange. So these mandarins are large. These aren't like the cuties. The cuties are probably half the size. And different flavor. So completely different flavor. People think, you know, a mandarin is is a peach, is a peach, is a peach. And it's like, no, they're completely different. That's why we grow different varieties. If they were all the same, we would just have one variety of everything. But these are actually quite productive. And he's going to have a lot of his fruit, of course, up there in the sun. And he's also a good-looking tree. So this, if I can capture this here. So this is a blue metal fence. The sky kind of, there's the line. Blue metal fence. So this gets hot back here in the 120 degree weather. That metal paneling is probably 150 degrees. So you would think it would burn up the tree, you know, that is literally touching it, right, and growing up over it. But that's not the way it works, guys, because you got to remember the tree is shading the wall behind it, and so it's keeping that portion cool, so it's not going to burn up. So this is actually a dwarf, a dwarf gold nugget. And it is currently, I don't know, 15 feet tall at least. So even the dwarfs can get big and just covered with fruit. This is another one where you got to get underneath all the branches to find all of your fruit. These branches are just loaded up, loaded with fruit. It's very hard to see, but they are full of fruit. Big trees, so even a dwarf. So a dwarf can get big, or you can keep a standard size small. So really it kind of comes up to you and your little pruners, because your pruners are going to dictate the size of that plant. Oh my gosh, these are so good. So good. And see, they'll get a little warty sometimes, which is neat. That's how it got its name, Gold Nugget, because it's got sort of that bumpy flesh on some of these. And they look like gold nuggets. They're orange and chunky. They don't always do that. Sometimes they're smooth, but when they do that, it's neat because they're much easier to peel at that state also. All right, guys, that is it for today. I kept you 20 minutes on some citrus, but hopefully this was a nice Christmas video for you guys. And know that you can add stuff to your yard all the time. It is winter. It is Christmas, right around Christmas, 2 days away. And you've got beautiful citrus here producing and ripening up some nice sweet mandarins that I can eat later. You know, right next to dormant trees. You know, trees that are naked because they've gotten enough cold to trigger them to go to sleep. So like these are pears, Asian pears, and you can see that they are completely leafless. They are dormant. Right? Nothing on them. Peach, same thing. Leafless, nothing on it. Right? So now you've got a little bit of visual interest, and you don't have the whole yard sticks, because that doesn't look good either. Right? It's nice to have some green in there, kind of filling in things and making things look good when everything else is sort of going to sleep. All right, guys, that is it. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe. Please like this video. And also, comments. If you guys have any comments, or you guys are interested in some of these citrus trees, well, let me know in the comments, or definitely come on by the nursery. I'm open year long. Why? Because there's stuff year long, and there's stuff producing year long, and plants grow year long. So I'm here all the time. And it's neat because where else can you try a lot of these fruits before you buy a tree? Well, nowhere, because other nurseries don't have stuff planted usually with stuff fruiting on them, so that you can either try them or see how big they're going to get or what they're going to look like. That's what I want in a nursery, so that's why I have this nursery set up that way. So you can come over any time of the year and see what things are supposed to look like. You know, are they supposed to be leafless? Are they supposed to be green? Are they supposed to have fruit on them? You know, guavas fruiting on Christmas, like red Malaysian guava. Normally these things freeze, and we've got this thing fruiting on Christmas, guys. So yeah, it can be done, and there is no off season. So I know people like to do things in just spring and fall. All right, guys, enjoy Christmas with your family, hopefully. And when that's over and spring starts to spring, get out there and get some stuff done, guys. Get out there and get some fruit trees, get your gardening going, and improve your life, because let's see if we can do that for 2023. 2022 was not everyone's best year, so let's see if we can make a better year this next year. And I will see you guys at the nursery if you have any questions or if you need any help getting your trees as productive as the ones I have around here. All right, guys, Merry Christmas. Thank you for watching.